literally sitting here trying to tell me that these rooms are the same size if I don't have two working functional eyeballs in my head. Now you trying to play me like I'm stupid. Now I'm irritated. So hello to all of my cherry bombs. It is me, Cherry, and I'm back with another video. And this video in particular is going to be one of the ones you all enjoy, which is a story time. Okay, so before I get into this video, I do want to say make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. If it's your first time seeing me, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up so that more people can find my content. Turn on your post notifications so that you won't miss me when I post, because I'm sporadic AF with how I post content. Hopefully this year I will not be, but I'm not making any promises because every time I give y'all a date and time I miss it. So hopefully I will get better at that, but until I do, make sure notifications are on, and even after, make sure they are on. All my social medias are linked down below so that you all can add me. I'm very active on them, and let's get right into this story. So I, up until this past week, was on the search for my next apartment because my lease is going to be up actually as I'm making this. Today is the 25th. My lease is up on the 31st, which is Sunday, and so this past month I have been looking for a place to stay. Woo! Y'all, a roller coaster of emotions, because New York, when you're looking for a place to stay, it's not like other places. Like other places, you find this place to stay like a month before and they hold the space for you for like a month until it's time for you to move in. You just know very far out where you're moving. New York is not like that. New York is very much so, you need to be ready to sign the lease the same day that you find the apartment. Everything is very quick. It's no like, oh, you know, you find this place and they'll be ready in a month. It's like, no, you found this place, it'll be ready in a week or two. Be ready to move in, and don't contact us unless you're ready to move in within a week or two of the date, because we're ready. We're keeping it pushing, we're moving. Everything is very fast paced. It's New York City. People are constantly moving in and out. Though it's not a long waiting game. So anyway, even knowing that, I still was just very like, I'm used to what I'm used to. So I'm used to knowing where I'm going to live very far out. I was very stressed that it was getting to like the 2-week point and I still didn't know where I was gonna live, and I was just very emotional because I was like, oh my god, like this is just so difficult. During my time when I was apartment hunting, let me tell y'all about this story, because I felt very tried. Okay, so I was using this site. It's not even a site. I was using this Facebook group called Gypsy Housing. Now, if you all have been following my past move to New York, I mentioned this before. That is where I find all my housing. I have not used anything else so far to find apartments here in New York. Everything that I have found has been through Gypsy. And so basically with Gypsy, they have realtors that work for the Facebook group, but then also regular people can post if they're moving out. They can post, hey, I'm looking for somebody to sublet my apartment, I'm looking for somebody to take over the lease, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. Regular people can also put that in there, along with people who are like, hey, I'm looking for a room, can put that in there as well. So normally it's very helpful. So anyway, I come across this listing, and the listing is this room. It's one big room and it's 2 smaller rooms, but the deal is unbelievable. And I'm just like, yo, there's no way a room this freaking big is going for this price. The biggest room was listed at $950. It was a big humongous basement room with a private bathroom, which is just like, yo, like that's a steal. Like as big as this room was, it was big enough that you could fit a It was like a table area, a couch area, a full size or queen size or even king size bed in there if you wanted to, with a whole entire room worth of space to still walk around, and then you had a bathroom. Like, this room was absolutely huge. If I still have a picture, I will insert it. So they had that one listed at $950. So that was the one that I originally was interested in. I was like, oh my god, I just want a room where I have the least interaction with anybody else in the house. That was my main thing. I was like, I just want to be separate from everybody. I want to be able to come in from work, unwind, and recharge my battery, because I've always been that type of roommate where, like, I'm the type of roommate where, like, I come home and I come home to recharge. So I'm not really the hangout type roommate or anything like that. I'm not mean. I'm not, like, I'm still a friendly roommate to live with, but I'm just very I'm very to myself when I'm at the crib. I be trying to recharge. Like, my social battery is dead by the time I get home. So, and then also my thinking was, okay, if I'm not by anybody, I won't feel awkward making my YouTube videos. So when I saw this place, I was like, yo, this is perfect. I room for my cat, everything. I'm just like, yo, perfect. I hit them up, and at the time they were like, oh, you know, mind you, okay, this is what had pissed me off at first. I hit them up as soon as I saw the post. When I saw the post, nobody else had commented yet, nobody else had liked it yet. I was the first one to see this, because when I say I was checking Gypsy every single day faithfully, every time I had free time, I was on Gypsy scrolling. So I was the first person to hit them up, to contact them, and the first person to see it. So it took a while to hear back from her, but when I finally heard back from her, it was like, oh, you know, somebody took that room, but I have 2 other rooms. Would you be interested? The 2 other rooms were both listed at $500. One was a phenomenal size for $500. I was like, there's no way this room is going for $500, because it was very, very big. So I'm like, oh shit, like, no way, like, this room is $500. So originally I wanted the $950 one, but when I saw how big the one of the $500 room was, I was like, yo, I want that one. So I hit her up and I'm like, hey, I'm interested in that one. We'll do whatever. Y'all, tell her I'm interested in that one, and she's like, oh, somebody put their deposit down on it. So I'm like, okay, like, I'm irritated, but I can't be all the way irritated, because I was responding considerably fast, but I also had to work. So when she hit me up about the one that I wanted after the $950 one, she hit me up at like 10 a.m. I didn't get back to her till 8 p.m. So in that time, somebody else had hopped on it. Don't blame them. It was still. So they put their deposit down. Cool. So there was one more room for $500. Now the other room for $500 was small as hell. The bed barely fit in there. It was super ugly. Like, the lighting was, I never showed interest in that room. I never would have showed interest in that room. We never discussed this other room. So I'm gonna say room A, B, and C. A was $950. B was $500, but it was big. So B for big, remember that. And C was for closet ass, claustrophobic ass room. Okay, so room C, never showed interest in that one. So I'm talking to her, whatever, and she's like kind of mentioning that the girl seems shaky, whatever. Actually, no, I'm gonna read exactly our conversation to you guys, so that y'all can understand what the conversation was like, because in the exchange, you can tell I was never interested in the room that she tried to play it off as. So let me find this. Hold on. Okay, I found it. Okay, so our original conversation, she said, and this was back on the 8th of January. So she was like, hey, I'm sorry somebody put a deposit down on the big room, room A. Would you be interested in one of the smaller rooms? I'm really sorry, just trying to manage all the inquiries. And she was like, in work at the same time, and she was like, it's been hectic. So I'm like, okay, you know, that's fine. So I asked her if she had more pictures of room B, the big one. So she shows me, oh, and actually, okay, so I have a video of room B that I'm going to insert in here for you guys, so that y'all can see how big it was. It was considerably a big room. So I'm like, OMG, thanks. I actually really love room B, and this one is February 1st, move in as well. I was like, if so, then I'm interested. And I said, or even January 31st. And I said, I take it. I'd like to know the next steps to secure the room, please. And I said, here's my number to make things easier. And so that was at 8 p.m. 8:19. She said, somebody Apple paid me just to hold it. I'm sorry. She'll decide if she wants to commit tomorrow, and I'll let you know. I said, if it doesn't, then please, well, if she doesn't, then please text me as soon as she lets you know. I'll Apple pay whatever needs to be sent. She said, okay, thanks. It's a lot going on. So I said, no problem. I know people are going crazy for your listing, whatever, because I knew that people were trying to hop on it because it was a steal. Like, from the video, y'all can see it was a steal. So the next day I said, good morning, just wanted to send a quick reminder in case the girl decides not to go forward with the larger room. Sorry to be so persistent, just really want the room. It's perfect. I said, if she doesn't want the room, shoot me a text or call. I'll send my deposit. Thank you so much. And then I put my number again at the bottom. She texted me back, or she messaged me back. That was at 10:07 a.m. So at 4:25 p.m. she says, hi Liz, did your cat get along with small dogs? I said yes, but she's shy at first. I responded like literally like 2 minutes after that. She didn't respond back. So the next day I said, hey love, checking to see if there are any updates on the girl trying to decide on the room. And so she messaged me back. She said the 9:50 room A had now canceled. So I was waiting to hear back from room B at this point. Room A had canceled, so the 9:50 was back available. The really big one was back available. Cool. So she said, they canceled, do you want it? And then she said, ah shit, wait, ugh, this girl, or whatever. I said, okay, bet, I'll wait. If they flake, could I come by and see the room, both rooms in person? I'm prepared to put a deposit down, just let me know. So she says, either way, you definitely have the $500 room, I'm pretty sure. We had only discussed room B. That's the one that she told me that the girl was waiting on to decide if she wanted the room. So that's the one we had discussed. So when she said that, I'm assuming that she's talking about room B, okay? So I said, OMG, yes, I hope so, because I fell in love with it, whatever. I said, so as soon as you know, please let me know, and I'll go ahead and send first month's plus security to officially have the room and pick up my key. And so I said, honestly, the girl who already put a deposit down, and then I said, honestly, if the girl who has already put a deposit down on the $500 room hasn't done first month and security, I'm willing to send mine to secure the room and take it off the market. So I essentially was trying to steal the room from the girl. I don't care, it's New York, it's cutthroat, you got to get in where you fit in. So what I was saying was, I will send, since she only sent a deposit, I will send first month's plus security. You can send her deposit back to her, give the room to me, I'm ready to pay you now, is what I was saying. She says, okay, I'll hold the room for you, when would you like to come see it? I said, when are you available? So we scheduled me to come see the room. Again, room B, never discussed room C. Room B, this was all about room B. I'm clearly saying I know somebody put a deposit down. I still want to come see the room. I want that one, and I want to see room A because I might want that one, but I really want room B now. So, boom. So anyway, so she sends me the address, whatever, we work out me coming. So I come to see room B, room A and B, because she asked me if I would be interested in seeing both rooms. I said yes. Y'all, let me tell y'all what happens when I come get to this motherfucking house, okay? So I come in, they're nice, they offer me a drink, whatever. I'm like, oh no, I'm fine. Like, they offer me water. I'm like, okay, I'm cool. And so they're like showing me around the living room area. They take me downstairs to see the room A and room B. So I get downstairs. Room A is true to the picture. It's super big. I'm just like, yo, this is bomb. Like, like, I'm really loving it. It would have been a steal. Like, literally would have been a steal. except for the vibe I caught when I asked to see room B. So this is where shit started getting really funky, really weird. I asked to see room B, and the girl who was originally, it was a girl that I was communicating with, that's who I thought was going to be showing me around, but it ended up being her and her roommate. It was 5 people, or no, it was 6 people in the house. It was a big brownstone, so everybody had their own rooms and stuff, good sized rooms, whatever. 6 people in the house. I was only communicating with one of them. I show up, 2 of them are showing me around, so I'm just kind of like, okay, like, you know, I'm like, okay, I guess that's not too weird or whatever. You know, whatever. So the one girl that was showing me around was the one that lived in room A. The one that I had been communicating with lived in room C. Okay, get down there, room A, cool, ask to see room B. So the girl, I'm gonna call her Hannah, and that's who was in room C, the one that I have not freaking discussed with anybody. I don't know why anybody, anyway. Hannah is like, oh, you know, the roommate that lives in room B right now, I don't know if she'll be okay with you going in there. She's kind of weird about people seeing her room. And I'm like, what the fuck? Because the whole point of me being here is to see the fucking room. You know that people are interested in moving into your room. Why would you be weird about them coming to see the room that you have listed on this site? That's weird. That's suspicious. That's weird as fuck. So I'm just like, okay, well, I came to see this room, so that's the room that I want to see. And so her and the other roommate, the roommate from room A, I'm not gonna give her a name because she wasn't really a part of the story like that, but her and the other roommate are like, you know, kind of like being like really weird and kind of looking at each other all kind of weird or whatever. And they're both kind of being like, oh, well, we don't know if she wants anybody to go in her room. Well, I said, well, can you knock or I can knock, because I want to see the room. Because y'all, like, I came all the way out here to see this specific room. You're not finna tell me I'm not finna see the room, and you know that's what I came here for. Like, what the fuck? That's weird. So I'm not taking no for an answer. So they finally, like, you know, the girl knocks and she opens the door, and of course I already know this was gonna happen because there's nobody's in the room. Y'all acting all weird as shit. Nobody in the room. Like, I'm already catching the vibe you on some like weird shit. So I walk into room B. Room B is true to the picture. It's big, it's beautiful, it's nice, okay? Like, it's really nice. I'm like, oh my god, this for $500? Crazy steal. Crazy steal. Actually, no. Okay, y'all, I skipped a part actually, because I saw room A. She took me to room C, and that's where everything started actually. Okay, so let me rewind. So after A, she took me to room C. She said, yeah, so this is the $500 room. There's a door over here. Mind you, the room that she showed me was not pictured in the listing at all. It was one of the rooms from upstairs. I know this is confusing you guys, but literally I was confused too. The room that she showed me for room C was not pictured at all. They had a different room in the house that they were using a picture for in order to describe room C. Room C looked nothing like the picture they used, okay? Only A and B were true to the picture. Room C was like some other shit. So she shows me room C. She's like, yeah, this is the one that you would be taking, da da da. Mind you, y'all, room C, I have a full-size bed. That's not even a super huge bed, okay? Room C looked like it had a double XL, and it barely fit the double XL. It definitely was not a full. It was a double XL at most, and it barely fit in the room with space to walk. It had no closet. It was very narrow. There was a door that led into like a square outside area with no outlet. There would have been no space for my things, my cat, no nothing. I would not have been able to fit shit in room C. Room C was one of the smallest rooms I've ever seen, ever. The bed took up the whole entire room. I cannot stress this enough. It was hideous. No sunlight, no nothing. I was like, bro. And in my head, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna play this cool, but now, like, you about to piss me off, like, you fucking with me. So she shows me room C, and I say, oh, okay, this isn't the one that was pictured. And she's like, oh yeah, well this is the one that's available. I said, oh well, okay, well I would like to see the one that I came here to see. So that was room B. So this is then when they started acting weird about me seeing room B. So she's like, oh yeah, well this is the one that's available. I'm like, well I would like to see room B, whatever. So they finally showed me room B. Room B is true to the picture. I'm like, okay. So I'm standing in the room and I'm like, hey, I really love this one. I'm willing to give you the money right now for you to send the other girl her deposit back and let me have this room, period. And the girl is like, oh well, you know, I can't, she already paid her deposit. Which in New York, that maybe other places, but in New York that don't mean shit unless you actually go through a like actual what would I say, like an actual website, like an actual like landlord's renter like building website. If you do it like that way, then yeah, no. But this was just you trying to sublease this room out. The girl Apple paid you. Send the Apple Pay back. I don't give a fuck. So I'm in the room and I'm like, yeah, I understand that, but I'm willing to pay you more. I'm willing to give it to you now because I want this room. And she's like, you know, well, room C and room B, like they're not that much apart in space. So she's trying to tell me that the rooms are not that different in space, which I am standing in a room that is clearly like, y'all, I have to insert a, like, I'm literally going to find a similar room to room C and I'm going to insert it. Room C was so fucking tiny. It was nowhere near the size of room B. You could have fit 3 of room C's into the bigger room. 3. You literally sitting here trying to tell me that these rooms are the same size if I don't have 2 fucking working functional eyeballs in my head. Now you trying to play me like I'm stupid. Now I'm irritated. So I'm looking at her and I'm like, I literally said to her, I'm like, these rooms are 2 completely different sizes and this one is considerably bigger than the one that you showed me. And the one that you showed me, we didn't talk about at all. But she was like, she was trying to be like, oh no, that's the one that we talked about, da, da. So I pulled out my phone and I showed her the messages. I said, we never discussed this room C ever. I was like, I came to see room B. I was under the impression that even though the girl had put her deposit down, I was going to be able to override it. That's why I came here. I tell her that and she literally cuts me off. She's like, well, do you want to see the rest of the house? And by now, like, she has a little attitude. I'm like, she's like, well, let's show you the bathroom. And I'm like, in my head again, I'm like, there's no point in showing me the bathroom because now I'm not interested in your motherfucking shit. I'm not interested in anything because y'all acting weird as fuck and I'm irritated. And I really over here like, are y'all on some like trying to set me up type shit? Like the way you moving mad funny. I'm really ready to swing on both of y'all if it comes down to it, like in your own crib at this point. Like, because I'm like, yo, like y'all giving me mad weird vibes. Like if I need to be ready to start set it, little baby will start swinging in this bitch. I'm literally cracking up, but no, for real. So we're walking up the stairs. We get like halfway up the steps and I had turned around and I was like, mind you, they were walking like I was the first to go up the steps or whatever. So I turned around and I'm like, I was just like, hey, like, you know, I'm really in love with room B. That's the one I really wanted. That's the one that I came to see. And you know, whatever. And as I'm saying that, y'all, this was a moment where I really should have just been like, you know what, fuck y'all, bye. But I was trying to be so nice. As I'm saying it, she goes, well, that one's not available. So I'm over here like, bitch, I'm such a new and improved me. So I'm just like, And so she says that and she's like, so let's go see the bathroom. And I'm like, y'all really fucking tried me. Oh, because this is the other thing. Oh my God, I almost forgot, y'all. So they tried me on multiple, like they kept trying me. Because before we even got to any of this, I'm sorry I'm not telling this story in order, y'all. But when I was still looking at room A, the biggest room, the first one I went into, The listing said $950. I'm in there, I'm like, oh my god, this is dope, da, 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 this is a great price. And the girl, when she walks me in, she goes, oh, so this one's $1,000. And I'm looking, I'm like, on the listing it said $950, so I'm confused. She's like, oh well, no, it's $1,000. And I'm like, y'all really keep trying to play a bitch like I'm dumb as fuck or something. Like I just came in here and I'm the one fucking shit up. Like I had to misunderstand, because the other girl had also said, she was like, oh, you know, I'm sorry if there was some miscommunication, but she was basically saying like some, oh, I'm sorry if you misunderstood on your end, but this is what it is type shit. And I'm like, I can read, I have the screenshots, I show you these fucking messages. Y'all both got me hella fucked up, and I'm getting more irritated by the moment, but I'm really trying to be cool. Like I'm trying to play it cool. So she's like, oh, it's $1,000 or whatever, and I'm like, oh, okay. And granted, okay, it's only a $50 difference, but it was a $50 difference on top of the fact that I already was paying less where I stay now. So I was already calculating in, when she had said, when the listing said $950, I said, oh, okay, well that's this amount more than what I'm paying now. Cool, I'm willing to do that. You say $1,000, now all of a sudden, instead of, you know, that's the difference between whether I'm going to be paying anywhere from $150 more a month, or I'm going to be paying $200+ more a month than where I stay now, which again still wouldn't have been an issue. Or actually, no, let me not even say wouldn't have been an issue. It would have been an issue, because I had a certain budget. I wasn't trying to go over $950. And personally, that's because for me, if I'm going to be paying $1,000 and up, I want my own studio, or I want my own 1-bedroom. And in New York, in Brooklyn, and in the other boroughs, that is possible. Don't let people tell y'all it's not. It is. And I don't even mean like some little janky rinky-dink. Like you can find something nice in the boroughs, like not in Manhattan, but or in Harlem you can, but in the rest of Manhattan, no, Manhattan's expensive. But in the other boroughs, you can find, like, if you had a budget of like $1,200 or $1,600 or whatever, you can find a nice studio, okay? But for now, if I'm gonna do roommates, I don't want to pay more than $950. So I was irritated when she said that, because I'm like, yo, they really fucking tried me. First you showed me this first room that you said was $950. Now you telling me it's $1,000, and then you tell me it's $1,000 not including utilities. So now not only do I have to calculate on what I would be paying more than the rent I'm paying now, but then plus utilities. So really, and then you talk about some. So I asked her, I said, how much is utilities? She said, oh, it's $60 to $80 a month. So this room should have been listed at $1,080. Girl, $1,080 utilities included, because the room size she showed me, even if you would have listed at $1,080, it still would have been a steal from New York. That room was huge. It would have been a steal. People still would have fucked with it. They're not going to fuck with it any less because you put $1,080 for a room that size, humongous, tons of space, instead of $950. They're not going to say, oh my god, I'm gonna pass up this huge room that's cheaper than any other room that size would have been at least $1,700, and you still would have had a fucking roommate. Like, I'm saying that in the boroughs you can find studios, but there are also in the boroughs places where people, and especially Manhattan, but also in the boroughs, where people are paying $17 or whatever the case and still have a roommate. So with that being considered, somebody would have jumped on $1,080 for a room that size. So I'm irritated about that, because I'm just like, girl, why did you lie? Like, y'all got me in here, y'all lying, y'all being on some weirdo shit. Like, I'm irritated. Then you try to show me this small ass room that only fits a bed. I'm telling you that I have, you know, I have stuff with me. I'm big on, as soon as shit didn't have a closet, I'm like, no. Because my thing is, either it's going to have a closet, or it's big enough where I can fit a dresser if I'm not going to have a closet, and I can fit a coat rack for my coats, and everything else can go in the dresser. You show me a room that not only does not have a closet, it can barely fit a coat rack, and it definitely damn sure ain't no way in fuck can fit no dresser, because it barely fits the bed. I was looking like, yo. Then we're in there and they're like, yeah, and we're looking for somebody, because mind you, this is brownstone. They're like, yeah, and we're also looking for somebody who can put the lease under their name because of, I don't know what the hell the circumstance was, but basically they wanted somebody to sign on for the entire lease under their name so everybody else could just lease under that person. I was like, yo, y'all fucking wildin'. Now y'all really ODing. Y'all got too much going on. Y'all being weird as fuck. You got too much going on. Y'all lying. Y'all showing pictures of one thing and showing in person is a whole nother thing. Thank God I went and saw it in person before I sent a deposit, because they really would have had me fucked up. And that's all I really need to say about this video. Y'all, when you're apartment shopping in New York, people be lying. They be trying to finesse you. Always go look at the apartments in person, because a lot of the time, I promise you, more times than not, these realtors will do it. The regular people will do it too. They be using the panoramic thing on their iPhone to try to make the room look bigger, or they'll try to like Photoshop and stitch the rooms like together so they look bigger. I promise y'all, you will end up in a fucking box if you don't go look at the room first. That is my lesson for you guys. And yeah, that's my story. They really tried me, but I'm out. Please like, comment, and subscribe, you guys. Let's see y'all in my next one. So hello, Remy, get off this thing, girl. I'm recording, y'all. She just like be nudging on my tripod. Oh my god, stop. Okay, we're gonna run this back.